My name is Daman Kapuria. Today is 5th of August 2015 and I am interviewing Mr. Rajkumar Kapur for the first time. The interview is taking place at New Delhi, that is in India, and is being conducted on the behalf of 1947 Partition Archive. Sir, आपका full name?
राजकुमार कपूर.
कोई nickname आपका कोई घर का?
काका.
Sir, your father's name, your mother's name?
Father name was Major Lajpat Rai Kapur. Dr. Lajpat Rai Kapur.
Your
और मदर सुंदर देवी कपूर.
Sir, your place of birth?
सरगोदा.
Your date of birth?
16 January 1926.
And sir, if we talk about your family history, कितना पुराना आपको याद है family history के बारे में?
Family, my grandfather shifted in Sargodha in 18 when the new canal was made, Jhelum Canal. And my grandfather was a leading lawyer in Sargodha. His name was Lala Bhaguram Kapur. He was a very renowned person in Sargodha as well as in Lahore. He was doing his own practice, law practice.
And sir, what about your forefathers?
Forefather's name is there, but we have not met, neither seen. We have started only from our grandfather.
And have you heard about their history, what they did, or something special story?
They
about
were doing in submission business. Of course, name is there. We have got a family tree. But what they were doing, we know only right from the grandfather. Because it was a giant family. About 40 people in that house we were living together. My father, 2 uncles, then my auntie with children, all were living in same house. It was a well-knit family till partition. Only after partition they went to different places.
And sir, if we talk about origin of your last name, Kapurs, from where Kapurs originated from?
Great grandfather. I've got a tree. I'll able to see and then will able to tell you what it said. Say about 4 generations, 3 generations.
So, do you have any special story about your family?
I mean, beyond my grandfather.
Yes, beyond your grandfather or your father's story, some.
No, that stories are there. My father was a doctor. He went to England, did his doctorate there. Then he came and joined Sargodha. First he started his practice, then he joined the government service, Punjab government, as a health officer. My Tayaji was Mulak Raj Kapur. In 1920s, he also went to England. He did his Bharat law there, and then he started his practice, along with my grandfather.
And sir, do you have any other special story like their hardships or sufferings or how they settled down in Sargodha? About their...
Actually, when the Jhelum Canal was made, it passed through Sargodha. Actually, my grandfather was earlier in this side of the Punjab. On the canal when they started, then they shifted there in 1800 and some art.
So previously, where they were, exact place?
They were here in
कपूरथला
हैं?
कपूरथला
हाँ नहीं कपूर नॉट
भेरा भेरा
नहीं पेरा तो उधर में है.
उधर हाँ जागराओं
First was Kapurthala, then they shifted here in Punjab itself. I don't recollect now.
ईस्ट पंजाब है या वेस्ट पंजाब है
West Punjab.
वेस्ट पंजाब में
नहीं ईस्ट पंजाब में इधर में ही था,
हाँ,
दिल्ली के पास ही.
Okay, sir. Can you describe your daily life when you were in Sargodha? Your daily life from morning to evening, what you used to do?
See, first 4-5 years were in school. We used to get up about 6 o'clock and there was a big park there, Maidan type of thing. We used to play right from the childhood, from the age of 4 or 5.
And what
And
you
there used to, in winter, there used to be some snow also on the ground. Barefooted we used to play at that time.
So what you used to play?
All games. Hockey was my favorite. Football, cricket, kabaddi. Chuppa chuppi.
And sir, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
We were 4 brothers and 2 sisters. Then my mother died. Then from the other mother, 3 sisters. Second marriage.
And sir, can you describe some of the fun or games you used to play together among your siblings?
See, morning we used to just run about and play hockey. We used to play carom also, sometimes chess also. So, sometimes those, what you call, coding,
कंचे
huh, marble. So, those types of.
And sir, what were the languages you used to speak in Sargodha?
Mostly Punjabi, then Urdu. English we started very late after we went to college.
And sir, is there any difference between Punjabi, East Punjabi language or West Punjabi language?
Not much difference. There is a slight slang difference is there, but otherwise there is not much difference between the two languages.
And sir, can you describe some of your friends in Sargodha?
Yes. One Mr. Om is there. He was with us in Calcutta also. He is a businessman. He was a exporter. Then Kamni Chadda. He was chairman of Indian Airlines.
So, did you have any Muslim friends?
Muslim? Yes, we had. But those were all there. Nobody. Shafi was there. He used to play hockey with us. Muhammad Shafi. After partition also he used to come to meet us in Delhi. Whenever there was sports game hockey, he used to come.
And sir, can you describe place of worship you used to visit in Sargodha?
We have Snatam Dharam Mandir and Arya Samaj. In fact, Sanatan Dharam was started by my grandfather when he was there.
So what is the story behind that? How he started?
No, he was a leading liar. So most of the people, they just, their group got together and then they thought something should be there. So they made this Mandar, Arya Samaj. There was a Gurdwara in our own block itself, block 3. So all these things were.
And sir, if we talk about family entertainment or picnics or going to marriages, wedding functions, you used to go?
Yes, regularly. Each marriage we used to go, sometimes to Pera, sometimes to Lahore. Wherever the marriage took place, I mean, it was a routine that must attend.
And how was the marriage function was?
Marriage functions were very good, large gathering, good food for weeks together. So,
And what about the picnics or going to movies?
picnic we used to go to canal for swimming, and then after that have a picnic, mangoes and all those things.
So you
Like childhood.
you learned swimming out there?
Yeah. Then used to have our own khana. Sometimes we used to get some cooks. They used to make. And swimming was there in the canal, Jhelum Canal. So we get together. I mean, in season, you can say 2-3 times.
And so can you describe some of the festivals of Sargodha?
Lodi was there. Diwali. बुला लो सर. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Lodi used to be there. Diwali. I mean, of course, this Christmas and all those things were not celebrated.
And sir, which was your favorite festival at that time?
Ours was Diwali.
And
Lodi and Diwali both. Because Lodi, those patakas used to be there. And Diwali feast.
So what were the special preparations or you did for these festivals?
Mostly sweets used to be there. I mean, barfi, rabdi, laddu, kalakand, all these types of things. Which I am still fond of.
So do you get same taste out here? Like
Not those, that type of thing. Those were pure in those times. There were no impurities. But now here you get all types of. There used to be milk, 100% pure. Of course, we had our own buffaloes and cows because we had a landed property. From there we used to get it regularly.
And so can you describe your favorite holiday or destination?
Summer vacations and Christmas. Place of visit used to be mostly Lahore because the relatives were there. Even Balraj's father was also there, so we used to go quite often. Then Bhera was our native place. These two places were. I mean, each holiday, mother side was Bhera, other.
So can you describe your summer holidays in Pera?
Pera was a small town, very narrow lane. Then all brothers, other sisters, cousins used to get together on holidays. Uncle, mamas, and all family got together for about a month or so, summer holiday. Similarly, winter holidays in mostly Lahore. Then when we grew up, used to go to Calcutta. My brother was there.
So how far Calcutta was from Sargodha?
It was 2 nights journey. We used to come to Lahore. From Lahore we used to go about 48 hours. Trains were also slow.
And sir, if we talk about plays and performances of that time, like drama, theatres,
Theatres were there, but it was not that type of elaborate or sophisticated thing. My uncle was very keen for these dramas and all those things. We had a cinema hall also. One of my uncle was very fond of dramas and all those things.
so did you witness some of the dramas of on?
Yes, right from the childhood, because it was our own. So, cinema was also there in 31 or 35. My uncle started it. So we used to go almost every day. Little pictures, 1 hour, one day, other after dinner.
So can you name some of the movies of that time or theatres or plays of that time?
Plays mostly used to be Ramayana and all those things. During those times, religious things were there. There were no other dramas and all those things. Mahabharata and Ramayana. No. Old picture. Segal's picture were there. Roshan Ara was one of the very old picture. I mean, there was no sound also. It was a silent picture. Kismat was there, Zinat Aman. So like that.
And sir, if we talk about music of that time, can you describe music of your time?
Music only harmonium and tabla was there. Or that bugle and all those things. But sophisticated things were not there. My uncle, my elder brother was very fond of harmonium. Even he also, my other brother, he used to sing also, play harmonium also. But I was not fond of it. Mine was mostly sports.
And sir, can you please share some of your favorite childhood memories? Favorite ones?
Favorite only we played hockey and won it. And then people from the ground used to bring us home on their shoulders to our house. Then mother, father, they used to pay them some money and distribute the sweets whenever we won the match.
So can you describe some of your matches?
Matches, school, inter-school matches used to be there. There was a government school, Snathan school, and Mohammedan school also. So we used to play inter-school matches. Then after 7th or 8th, there was a Rose Club, Collegian Club, hockey. तो आप मैचेस होते रहते थे in the season. Then football, then cricket. But those were side games for me. I was only fond of hockey and badminton.
So do you remember some of your like game winning goal of yours or something like that?
Yes, in the school, quite number of prizes won. Even after school also, college also. I played for Punjab University also.
And sir, at which position you used to play?
I played center forward and inside left. After partition, went to Calcutta. Actually, we were in Calcutta when this partition took place. We never got a chance to go back. My elder brother was there. So we went on a holiday after BA exam. Then never got a chance to go back. Then since I used to play hockey, then played for Mohun Bagan for 1 year, then joined the Customs Service in Calcutta Custom, Ministry of Finance, then played for Customs side, played for Bengal side.
So you played for
Bengal, Custom, Punjab, Brothers Club Lahore. I played for Mohun Bagan for 1 year, hockey. Then Calcutta Custom, then represented Bengal also.
Team of Bengal.
Huh?
Team of Bengal.
हाँ, Bengal.
कहाँ से?
Then I had the chance of playing with Dhyanchand also. There was one exhibition match, Mohun Bagan arranged. Mohun Bagan versus the rest of Bengal. So I played with Dhyanchand. He was center forward, I was inside left. Exhibition match I played. Then I used to play badminton, half hockey season, tennis also.
Lawn tennis.
Huh?
Lawn tennis.
Huh.
And sir, what were your achievements in these things?
Moon Custom, we won the championship. So, Bengal, of course, we never won.
अंकल थोड़ा अंकल के बारे में भी बता दो जो ओलंपिक गए थे ईस्ट अफ्रीका गए थे
हाँ. My elder brother, Balbir Kapur, he was an All India player. In 48 there was no Olympics on account of some trouble. He could not go, but he represented and team went to East Africa
48
with Dhyanchand being the captain at that time. Brother name was Balbir Kishan Kapur. He was in Government College Lahore. He also represented Punjab University. Then he represented Bengal also. I also played for Bengal many years.
So he played Olympics with Dhyanchand in 1948.
No, I not, my elder brother. He was selected. But he went to East Africa, Indian team, when Dhyanchand was the captain. Balbir Kishan Kapur was it.
वहाँ पे they did 28 मैचेस सब जीते इंडियन टीम.
And sir, if we talk about life of people in Sargodha before partition, so how was it, like standard of living?
Life was very simple. People were very affectionate, even the shopkeepers, everybody. Not like here, rowdyism and other places. Very simple life. Weather also used to be very good. Open space. There used to be a park for playing hockey and all. So it was a simple life but good life. Not congested like Bengal or other places.
And so if we talk about newspapers and magazines of that time,
And
newspapers and magazines of that time.
one Illustrated Weekly was there, regular. Tribune was their paper. Statesman was there. Then Hindi papers were there.
And so Urdu newspapers.
Urdu was also there. Newspaper, books.
And so were there any local library in Sargodha?
There was a library. Municipal committee used to have a library. They used to have a table, people used to go and read the books
And
in
what,
the municipal committee itself.
what kind of books were
All
offered?
types, English, literature, this. Whatever the new books used to come, the library used to buy it. Of course, my grandfather's library was as big as this room, all law books at that time, and full of drawers. My uncle was also bar at law. He did it in London. So, legal books were very much there.
And so if we talk about law of that time, doing law, like now we have a particular constitution, and previously how the law was studied and what
Law was simple, it was not that complicated as it is. The people were quite happy. There used to be court cases and all those things, but genuine. There was death penalty used to be there also at that time. So, but very rare. Some murder हो गया तो हो गया. Only he'll go.
And sir, can you describe interfaith relations of communities, different communities?
Communities before partition were very friendly. Mohammedans, Sikhs, even some Christians were there. They were Christian school. It was well-knitted family type of, you can say. There was no Mohammedan used to come very often to our place when police commissioner was there. So they used to come and eat with us. We also used to go to their house, and children were very friendly. So there was no Sikh, Hindu, Muslim. They were all considered as one.
And so what about gender relations, like male and female? What kind of relations?
At that time, the ladies or females were not very friendly with the boys. It was not considered a healthy thing. They used to be different. But after people started going to the college and all those things, then they used to be a,
So you
because co-education was there in the college stage, but not at the Sargodha stage. Lahore it was there. Even when we joined the college, we had girls there. Used to play badminton. I used to play badminton when my girlfriend was my partner. So
And so can you describe local artist or craftsperson of Sargodha?
craft buildings used to be good, even otherwise also. Park and all those things were very nicely made. Of course, at that time, Britishers were there. Roads were good because it was a newly built town. So, roads, parks, law and order conditions were perfect. Used to be murder in the villages and all those things, but very rare.
And sir, what about local artists of that place? Were there any local artist, famous person, or famous personality from that Sargodha place? Local artist or famous personality of Sargodha?
Khizr Riyad Khan was the Prime Minister Punjab. Feroz Khan Noon was there. He was after his law, he used to come and learn things with my grandfather. He wrote the book also, where my grandfather's name is there, law book. Manav has got that.
Okay.
Feroz Khan Noon. He was a leading lawyer. Khizr Riyad was the chief minister there, Punjab.
And sir, if we talk about your school days now, can you describe your school?
School, there were not many boys, say 15 to 20 in a class. But all the desk and all those things were there. Teachers were also good, very friendly. But sometimes if you have done some mistake, they used to beat also. It was a part of life. School games were there. Football, hockey, kabaddi. So all types of things were there.
And so what about the building of your school? Building of your school, infrastructure.
Infrastructure was good. As the new things used to come, so people used to buy. Some teachers used to come from Lahore, little advanced than Sargodha itself. So all that equipment was there, loudspeakers and other things, especially the science room, testing and all those things. All modern equipment was in the school. But it used to be imported from other states. Little advanced than Sargodha.
So how you used to get there? Like how you used to transport to your school?
Transport on foot, walking,
How far it was?
say about 2 miles, 1.5 miles.
And sir, what were the subjects you used to study there?
Urdu was there, mathematics, Urdu, history, English also was there. Mostly these.
And sir, if we talk about history books of that time, so what was the special? What was it all about?
Mostly that Mughal period was the main. Or prior to Mughal period, Indian history, like Rajas, Maharajas, those were there. Afterwards, when we went to the college, then that British history and all those things started. But in Sargodha, mostly this Mughal period. And
So, can you describe best memory of your school and worst memory of your school? Best memory first.
good memory in the school.
Yes.
Only one we won the tournament. It was hockey tournament. It was good. When we passed out from the school, went to college. That period was good. Otherwise, there used to be PTs and all those things. Morning exercises, football, volleyball, hockey, kabaddi, all games were there. Only.
And what about worst memory of school? Bad memories of school?
कोई शरारत तो याद नहीं है क्या पता. Except that we went in 8th class when we won the tournament that was the hockey. So, otherwise school में भी झगड़े चौगड़े होते रहते थे at that age.
And what about getting beaten by teachers?
If you have not done your homework, you used to beat with the rod occasionally. Sometimes he used to slap also. There was one teacher, his left hand was not there. So he used to teach, write it with, his right hand was not there. So he used to do that. Urdu teacher was there too.
So, can you describe your favorite teacher?
Favorite teacher was, अभी उसका तो नाम नहीं, रामदास were there.
And sir, can you describe the name of person who taught you playing hockey, or who was your guru or mentor?
Hockey, my elder brother used to play. Then hockey, badminton, I learned from him mostly. Then there was Malak, he was captain of the Rose Club, which I joined. So there was one Mohammedan chap also, Qureshi, he also taught us. So, Shafi was there, Mohammedan. So he taught us. Class 5th and 6th, we used to say by how to dribble and how to go about it in the hockey team.
And sir, can you describe the house you lived in? House, your home at Sargodha. Can you describe it?
It was a block, square type of thing. Houses were there, built in. There used to be very big Maidan type of thing. There, water taps were in the center, then government water supply. So it was surrounded from 4 lanes, used to come into that block itself. And houses were good. Our house was constructed in 1890 or 95. It was a big room, a big house, 2-story ground floor first, and there was about 14-15 rooms because it was a giant family. So when the families grew, bigger rooms were made into partition like that.
Partition of home. Partition of home. And sir, what surrounded your house?
House was surrounded by all different houses. Different people were there. Hindu, Mohammedans were there, Sikhs were there. Even where we were staying, there was a Gurdwara in the same block. So it was all mixed. There was no difference between A, B, C. Dealings were same as with one community or other. Even Britishers also started in civil hospitals. So they used to come to my father, my uncle, because both of them were in London for their studies. So they were very, very friendly.
And sir, describe any animals or cattle you had.
We had dogs, and on the contrary, cows were there, buffaloes were there. They used to go from our land. So every 6 months they used to interchange. So there was a very big area. So cattle were there. We had horses. Horse riding was there at that time. We used to go when we were children. Tanga was there. 2 tangas in our. First car was in our house. 1900.
Which car it was?
Ford.
Chevrolet. Chevrolet. Ford was there. Then we started this transport also from Sargodha to Kashmir, lorries, buses. My uncle started that also.
अच्छा.
Chacha ji. It was a very prosperous family as far as Sargodha was concerned. Because both my grandfather, my uncle, Bharatla, they were well settled. Even my father also. During the war, he went to the army also. So, Jhelum and all those places. Trichinapalli, he was in charge of the train for the soldiers, sick soldiers, medical side.
And sir, which breed of dogs you had? Which breed you had?
We had Alsatian at that time. Even two, just few days old, we took it to Calcutta also. From Sargodha to Calcutta. In summer vacation. Every station we used to have those bricks, ice bricks, used to keep it in the train and used to take them. Alsatian, two were there, Duke and Dulcie. Very big, became very difficult to control. It was required two people to handle them. But very good. House was very safe in Calcutta.
And sir, did you had any agricultural land of yours?
Yes, we had.
And can you describe crops that were?
All types of crops were
कहाँ थी
there.
हमारी लैंड
Huh?
कहाँ पे थी? कुशाब में थी.
No, it was about 22 miles away from Sargodha. Laliya was the.
So who used to cultivate that land?
We used to go on a holiday as a picnic, but people were there. Workers were there. Khushwant Singh's father was also at the same place. I mean, they had a land near our land.
So in childhood you had interaction with Khushwant Singh?
Huh?
In childhood you had interaction with Khushwant Singh?
No, my elder brother had, not I.
अंकल खुशवंत सरगोधा का था.
हाँ,
अच्छा. I don't know.
लालिया का था.
लालिया का. ओ.
It was 20 miles away from Laliya.
अच्छा.
So sir,
Khushwant Singh, his father,
सोबा सेन.
Sobha Singh, they were all from Sargodha.
and sir, can you describe some political movements just before partition in Sargodha?
Political movements, Mohammedans and Hindus. Hindu Mahasabha was there and Muslim League was there. But there used to be little tiff between them. But after elections they were used to be the same. The Prime Minister of Sargodha was from that place. Khizar-e-Yad Khan was the Chief Minister of Punjab. Used to come to our house very often because my uncle was a legal advisor to them. So,
And sir, were there any kind of movements or Julus kind of thing?
Julus used to be there on Gurdwara days, Eid days. They used to visit the houses and take those dakshinas and all those things. Even Mohammedans also used to come. Even Sardar also.
And so what about freedom movements? Freedom movements like
Freedom movement, say 47, 46, some tension started at that time between Hindus and Muslims. But 47, 48 became worse. They were not allowing us to shift. So they said, you will stay here. But when the people from villages start coming to the town, then they change their mind. They say, no, it will be difficult for us to save, keep your safety, so better to go. Most of the Mohammedans came to the station, khana pina, sab cheez they arranged, and it was a very friendly relation with them.
So, sir, can you now describe your partition journey? How like you left home?
Partition was, I was in Calcutta during that. In Calcutta, I have seen the riots. I mean, Mohammedans and Hindus. I was staying in Chirangi, and people, Jalus used to pass. So there used to be several. Once I was coming to in a train to Delhi, to when my family shifted. So people were throwing the bodies outside the train. I mean, Mohammedans were throwing Hindu bodies, Hindus were throwing Mohammedan bodies. And even in Calcutta, Chirangi also, there were riots, but under control. Not mass destruction was there.
So, how old you were when this partition happened?
Partition में I was in the college, about 22, 23. I finished my BA when I went to 21, 22.
So, you were in Lahore College?
I was in Dayal Singh College, Lahore. Education was in Sargodha.
And sir, when you came to Kolkata,
After my BA exam, I came to Calcutta on holiday. Then never got a chance in 48 to go back. Even when we were coming at Lahore station, our Mohammedan friend who were with us in the college, they came and escorted us in the train comfortably.
and sir, when you, which month it was when you left from Lahore?
We went in May, I think, most probably. May 1948.
And sir, at that time there was nothing in Lahore.
No. There were tension, but no massacre, no killings and all those. Even in Sargodha, Jalus were there. I mean, mass killing was not there. Then in the villages they started, and then people started coming out and to a safer side.
So you came in 47 or 48?
It was 48. 47 and tensions were started building.
So when partition happened, that is on 15th of August, 1947. So you were there in Lahore at that time. And sir, what was the first thought of yours when partition happened? When you heard about partition?
Partition time it happened, we were in Calcutta. Partition took place in 48.
47?
The 47 independence were there, but people started moving out in 47. So we were in Calcutta from.
So, what was your first thought when you heard about partition?
No, we thought there will be a massacre because at that time the politicians were, especially both sides were, Sardars were aggressive, Hindus, Mohammedans also. So otherwise they would have not shifted. If the friendship would have been there, they would have remained in the same place, as cordial relation as otherwise.
Sir, can you describe the scenario of Kolkata at the time of partition?
Calcutta was, say, we went in and 47, 48. It was, at that time there was no problem. When people used to come. Beginning of 48 it started. then Julus started coming with the lathis and all those things. But at the main massacre, what happened, we were Nazi. But I was coming from in 48 to take my family, meet my family. Then in the train, Hindus were throwing, Mohammedans were also bodies outside the train. That's all. Actual riots I have not seen.
And sir, what about your family of 50 people? How they
All landed up safely. Even the dogs. I mean, there was no problem. They came to Amritsar. My brother-in-law was there. He was a professor there. So family stayed. Then gradually shifted to Delhi. That is how it happened. Even we were, before partition, our hockey team was going to New Zealand. Brothers Club, I used to represent that club. We paid 500 rupees in those days to the society for the arrangement. Partition took place. So we were in Calcutta, forgot about that. His uncle was going, Balraj uncle was going to Pakistan after partition. So my mother in Urdu got a letter written to Secretary Sheikh Bashir, was the Brothers Club Secretary. तो भाई ये 500 रुपया उसको दिया था. You go and in case you happen to meet him, you tell him that Raj money is there for New Zealand trip. So he happened to meet him in an Argali. He told him that Raj has given this letter. Immediately he opened his jar. He said, this is 500 rupees, you take it. I mean, that was a relation at that time. Of course, we forgot about the money also. But my mother remembered. So she said, let us take a chance.
So sir, can you...
Roshan gaya tha.
अच्छा रोशनों में गए थे ओके अच्छा
So can you describe some of your life, like glimpse at Lahore? Like when
Lahore
you were
was a college life, very happy life. I mean, city was good, otherwise also with, little money, 25 rupees, you could enjoy everything. Hotel, restaurants, pictures. Every new picture we used to go. So, we'll have a cup of tea.
तो सर कोलकाता में जब पार्टीशन हुआ था तो वहाँ पे भी कैंप्स वगैरह लगते थे
कैंप
रिफ्यूजी कैंप्स
नहीं. कलकत्ता में ईस्ट बंगाल से जो आए थे उनका कोई था, बाकी पंजाब साइड वाले कोई कैंप नहीं था.
और जब आप न्यू दिल्ली आ रहे थे, जब आपने किस्सा बताया ट्रेन में से, तो न्यू दिल्ली आके क्या माहौल था वहाँ पे स्टेशन पे?
न्यू दिल्ली में भी बहुत टेंशन थी. एक दफ़ा तो काफ़ी राइट्स हो गए थे, नेहरू वगैरह भी गए थे उस टाइम में. काफ़ी मतलब कंडीशन वर बैड ड्यूरिंग 48-49. तो इधर में काफ़ी जुलूस वगैरह निकलते थे क्योंकि मोहम्मदन उधर से मार के भेजते थे. पंजाब वाले इधर से शुरू किया तभी ये बंद हुआ, नहीं तो चलता रहना था.
एंड सर वहाँ से लेके कोलकाता में थे आप, वहाँ से लेके आज तक आप दिल्ली में, पूरी आपकी लाइफ कैसे स्टार्ट हुई? दोबारा आपने यहाँ पे आके रीसेटल हुए?
मैं तो कॉलेज में अपना बीए का एग्ज़ाम दे के आया था कलकत्ता में. तो मोहन बगान में हॉकी खेलनी शुरू कर दी 48 के बाद 49. फिर उस टाइम में कस्टम वाले रिक्रूटमेंट कर रहे थे, तो उन्होंने खेलते देखा तो उन्होंने बोला आप अप्लाई करो. मैं था, मेरा एक फ्रेंड था इधर दिल्ली का, इंद्रजीत राय, दोनों हम दोनों ने अप्लाई किए, सिलेक्ट हो गए, कस्टम ज्वाइन कर लिया 48 में. तो नहीं 50 में किया जाए. पहले मैं थोड़ी देर काम करता रहा आस्टिन डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर में, इम्पोर्ट गाड़ी इम्पोर्टेड होती थी, इम्पोर्टेड कार्स, उनके ऑफिस में थोड़ी देर काम किया। Then I joined Calcutta Custom in 1951 as preventive officer. फिर बीच में मतलब प्रमोशन होती रही, अप्रेजर बना, फिर असिस्टेंट कलेक्टर बना, फिर दिल्ली में ट्रांसफ़र हो गया। तो वाइफ को अस्थमेटिक रहता था, तो डॉक्टर एडवाइज इन केस यू कैन गेट ए जॉब इन ड्राई प्लेस। तो फिर इधर में वैकेंसी निकली, आई अप्लाइड, देन आई केम हियर। इधर भी काफ़ी देर हो गया बताओ।
Meanwhile, sir, when you got married, शादी कब हुई?
हाँ, 56 में मैरिज हुई। देन वी वर इन कलकत्ता। इट वॉज ए जॉइंट फैमिली। माई ब्रदर्स वर आल्सो स्टेइंग विद अस, माई मदर, माई सिस्टर। तभी मेरे फादर की डेथ हुई थी, तो वी स्टेड देयर। तो इट वॉज ए हैप्पी मैरिड लाइफ। सो कोई फिर बच्चे हो गए, इन्होंने स्कूलिंग वहाँ पे की। फिर वाइफ ने टीच करना शुरू कर दिया हिंदी हाई स्कूल में, ट्यूशन भी लेती थी, डॉन बास्को में भी पढ़ाया। तो लाइक दैट थोड़ी हार्ड लाइफ थी, बिकॉज फैमिली शिफ्ट की, तो ब्रदर भी साथ में ही थे, तीनों हम। तो समर और भी मैंने।
तो सर, पार्टीशन का आपकी फैमिली पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ा या आपकी लाइफ पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ा?
पार्टीशन का जो उधर में पैसा आम था, जो चीज़ चाहिए ले सकते थे। इसमें सर्विस करने के बाद फैमिली का भी साथ, फादर की डेथ हो गई, तो फैमिली सारी मैंने कलकत्ता शिफ्ट की। मदर सिस्टर्स 3 थी, ब्रदर हम लोग उधर ही थे, तो एक ही फैमिली में रहे। देयर वाज ए हार्ड पीरियड, बट समर अदर तीनों मिल के सारा। सिस्टर्स की भी अच्छी एजुकेशन हो गई, दे आर ऑल वेल मैरिड अप। हम लोग भी मतलब, पर हार्ड वर्क काफ़ी था। हमको कस्टम ड्यूटी में ओवर टाइम मिलता था, नाइट ड्यूटी में शिफ्ट्स आते थे। उस टाइम में 18 रुपये नाइट ड्यूटी के। तो मेरा उसके पास नाम हमेशा ही रहता था, पोस्टिंग ऑफिसर के पास। मैं कहा जब वैकेंसी हो यू कैन पुट माई नेम। तो सैलरी भी थी, बट एट दैट टाइम सैलरी वॉज नॉट मच, बट समर तो भी मैंने।
And sir, what about the degrees, highest education you did?
ग्रेजुएशन।
And sir, after how you settled down in Delhi?
I was transferred from Calcutta. After my giant wife को asthmatic problem थी, तो डॉक्टर said you should go to some dry place. तो दिल्ली में वैकेंसी निकली मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस में। I applied, so I was selected. I came here for last 15 years, maybe more. तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस में करता रहा काम। फिर इधर में डायरेक्टेड थी, उधर में फिर ट्रांसफ़र हो गया, मतलब शिफ्ट होता रहा, पर मेन बेस वाज मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस। I retired as assistant director in the Ministry of Finance, Custom and Central Excise. अभी तो डेजिग्नेशन भी चेंज हो गया, असिस्टेंट कलेक्टर होते थे, अभी कमिश्नर हो गए।
And sir, what about your life after retirement?
Right from the retire, the day I retired, I started working as a consultant. एक मेरे पास आता था, वो बोलता कपूर साहब जब आप रिटायर हो गए मुझे याद रखना। तो मैं बोला ठीक है। 1 हफ्ता 10 दिन तो 15 दिन रेस्ट की, फिर एडजस्ट टाइप में उस टाइम में पैसे की भी ज़रूरत थी, पेंशन भी ज़्यादा नहीं थी, तो बच्चे भी मतलब पढ़ने वाले। मैं बोला चलो ठीक है। आई वेंट टू हिम, तो डिस्कशन हुई, तो उसने दिखाया है कपूर साहब कल आ जाइए, ये आपका टेबल है ऑफिस है। तो आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग राइट फ्रॉम द डे वन। आई लेफ्ट माई सर्विस मतलब कंसल्टेंसी अबाउट 3 years back, 3.5 years. Right from the beginning, after retirement, I have been working. पहले एक जगह थी, फिर नोएडा गया, नोएडा में भी अच्छी मिल गई, पहले नेहरू प्लेस में था काम, बट आप रिलेटेड टू द कस्टम इम्पोर्ट एंड एक्सपोर्ट।
And sir, what about hockey? You left it?
हॉकी तो एज के साथ ही होती है। आफ्टर लिविंग हॉकी आई स्टार्टेड टेनिस। कलकत्ता में रेगुलर हमारी क्लब थी, अपनी कस्टम क्लब। वो आई यूज टू प्ले बैडमिंटन एज वेल एज टेनिस। बैडमिंटन के भी प्राइजेस जीते हैं, ये आपको दिखाया है मुरार जी के साथ। तो देन आई यूज टू प्ले टेनिस आल्सो।
And who were the famous players of that time, tennis?
लाहौर के थे,
लाहौर के या जनरल?
Generally.
नहीं वही मतलब वो दिल्ली में भी खेलता रहा है।
अच्छा,
एक तो सुमंत मिश्रा था,
रॉड लेवर था उस टाइम पे, योनबर्ग, जॉन मैकेनरो।
education was in Lahore, we were in the hostel. Sumant Misra was there.
बाकी का रॉड लेवर वगैरह थे,
हैं?
रॉड लेवर
हाँ
मैकेनरो।
नहीं वो तो उधर के थे ना, बाहर के।
जनरली
नहीं
बात कर रहे हैं।
नहीं, सुमंत मिश्रा था और वो भी पंजाबी का था,
अच्छा,
नाम याद नहीं आ गया। सुमंत मिश्रा था।
And sir, now whom you live with? Whom you live with? किसके साथ में रहते हैं अब आप?
किसके साथ रहते हैं? माई सन इज विद मी, ही इज रिटायर्ड कर्नल फ्रॉम द आर्मी, तो बोथ ऑफ अस आर स्टेइंग। माई अदर सन आल्सो इज हियर, वो जिसकी फोटो देखी है ब्रिक कॉन्फ्रेंस में।
So how many children do you have?
आई गॉट 2 sons. One is in the retired as colonel from the army, other is Apollo Tires Group. He's one of the director there.
And sir, how you manage with your time today? Like from what's your schedule from morning to evening?
Mine is only now up in last 3 years after my wife's death. I seldom go out. जो कभी बच्चे पकड़ के ले जाए तो ले जाए। मॉर्निंग वॉक करता हूँ रेगुलरली, बहुत पहले तो 1 घंटा करता था, अभी रिड्यूस कर दिया बिकॉज आई एम 90 नाउ। मेरा एक्चुअल बर्थडे 1 अप्रैल 1925 है। इधर में जो ऑफिस रिकॉर्ड में है 16 जनवरी 1926 है, तो मैंने ऑफिशियल दी है, पर बर्थडे अप्रैल में मनाया, 90th बर्थडे।
And sir, एक सवाल मैं पहले पूछना भूल गया था। जब आप सरगोधा में थे, वहाँ पे आपकी कौन सी मटेरियल के बर्तन वगैरह यूज आते थे?
ब्रास के होते थे।
और वहाँ पे खाना कौन बनाता था? 50 लोग?
खाना क्या, हमारे 2 कुक थे, क्योंकि बड़ी फैमिली थी 30-35 आदमी की। घर में तंदूर लगे हुए थे, तो 2 सर्वेंट थे। एक सर्वेंट तो क्या काफ़ी थे, पर खाने वाले 2 थे। वो 30-35 आदमी का खाना इकट्ठा बनाता था। तंदूर में रोटी लगती थी, सुबह शाम चाय वगैरह वो देते थे। फिर जैसे बड़े बड़े फैमिली होती गई, डिवाइड होती गई, अपना अपना संभालते रहे। फिर वो सर्वेंट थे थ्रू आउट, Even those servants came here also with us.
सीताराम
हैं?
सीताराम आता है ना, सीताराम
हाँ,
हाँ,
हाँ।
वो आया था।
सरना था सारे मेरे फादर के पास, ही एक्सपायर्ड हेयर इन गुड़गामा, तो वो सरगोधा का ही सर्वेंट था जो इधर भी इनके ऑफिस में काम करता रहा है. ही वॉज इन द हेल्थ सर्विस, हेल्थ ऑफिसर है. देन ही वॉज इन द आर्मी आल्सो फॉर सम टाइम, सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वार.
एंड सर आपका जो घर था, आपकी जो प्रॉपर्टी थी, उसका कंपनसेशन यहाँ आके आपको
कंपनसेशन नॉमिनल मिला है, लैंडेड प्रॉपर्टी का मिला है. ये इधर में थोड़ा सा लैंड मिला था.
माहिम में,
हैं?
माहिम है ना अंकल, माहिम में, माहिम हरियाणा में नहीं है?
हाँ।
वहाँ पे कुछ लैंड लॉर्ड हुआ था।
हाँ, वो थोड़ी सी लैंड मिली थी कंपनसेशन, और मकानों का तो कुछ नहीं मिला था. अंकल को मिल गया था एक मकान एक्सचेंज में, जो भी दिया था. आप लोगों को ही.
रहने को मिला ना?
हाँ.
रहने को मिला, हाँ। एक वहाँ मिला था बस।
हाँ बस.
और कुछ माहिम में जमीन मिली थी,
हाँ,
वो तो मतलब बिक गई थी।
जमीन मिली थी.
हाँ, वो तो अंकल इसमें ना कब्जा हो गया था जाटों का।
हाँ,
हरियाणा
नहीं
में।
वैसे बड़ी अच्छी थी जमीन, और कोई संभालने वाला
नहीं
नहीं.
समझ, हाँ जी।
हमने तो नाथ को बोला था कजन,
अच्छा।
भाई आपका काम शाम को नहीं है, संभालो उधर में.
हाँ,
बहुत अच्छी जमीन थी.
देखी थी
पर हाँ,
आपने?
हैं?
देखी जमीन आपने?
मैं नहीं गया,
दादा गए थे?
वो जाते रहते थे
हाँ, वो याद रखते।
रेगुलरली उधर में. जब भी कोई पैसा पैसा लेना होता था,
हाँ, याद रखते।
वही डील करता है.
इनसे जब पार्टीशन हुआ था आप 21-22 साल के थे, अब नाउ यू आर नियरली 90, तो सर क्या आपके थॉट प्रोसेस में पार्टीशन को लेके क्या बदलाव है या क्या सोच है?
पार्टीशन में तो ऐसा था, वी स्टार्टेड ए न्यू लाइफ ऑल टुगेदर. जो उधर की फैसिलिटीज थी, दोज वर नॉट देयर. तो उधर में जो भी काम मिला छोटा मोटा, तो स्टार्टेड डूइंग इट. आई जॉइन आस्टन डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर, गाड़ियों के इंपोर्ट होती थी. फॉर अबाउट 6 months आई वर्क देयर. 6 months आई वर्क समवेयर एल्स. देन आई गॉट ए कस्टम जॉब. तब रेगुलर मतलब लाइफ शुरू है. ऑफकोर्स मनी वॉज नॉट मच, देयर वॉज ए हार्डशिप, क्योंकि फैमिली भी बढ़ गई, सारा कुछ. व्हेन दे शिफ्टेड, बट सम अदर गॉड वॉज वेरी काइंड, निकल गया टाइम. ईच वन इज वेल सेटल्ड. Children are doing very well. Grandchildren are also doing very well. मैक भी बढ़ गई हुई है.
हाँ, किंग्स कॉलेज में ना वो। हाँ, मैंने देखा था।
हाँ.
तो सर आपको क्या लगता है कि पार्टीशन कुछ अलग कर सकती थी गवर्नमेंट की, पार्टीशन होता ही ना, या ऐसा कुछ?
नहीं, गवर्नमेंट की कोई खास हेल्प मिली नहीं है पार्टीशन. मतलब कुछ एक्सचेंज में दिया है, बट इट वाज नॉट. अब वो तो इसमें इतनी बड़ी ज़मीन सी, इधर में वी सोल्ड इट ओनली फॉर अबाउट 20 or 25,000. वो भी 7-7 हज़ार रुपया तीनों ब्रदर्स में डिवाइड हुआ था. वेरी नॉमिनल, बट वेरी फर्टाइल लैंड, बट देयर वाज नोबॉडी टू गो देयर. अभी तो इधर में इतनी कीमत हो गई उसी.
हाँ।
बट सर अगर ऐसा कुछ गवर्नमेंट कर सकती थी कि पार्टीशन ही ना होता, मतलब दो कंट्रीज होती नहीं,
कर सकते थे, पर अपना अपना ईगो था दोनों, कांग्रेस का और मुस्लिम लीग का. जिन्हें अपने जगह से उसको अगर बना देते मिनिस्टर वगैरह या इधर में गंद वगैरह, तो हो जाता ठीक. पर दे वर नॉट एग्रीबल. ये ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स की वजह से पार्टीशन, नहीं तो नहीं होती. वो बोलते थे, अब जैसे हमारा सरगोधा का हिस्सा था या कुछ, ये बोलते थे कि इधर आना चाहिए, वो बोलते थे उधर. लाहौर तक बोला था कि इधर में रहेगा. फिर जब पार्टीशन हो गया तो हु विल बी प्राइम मिनिस्टर, उसमें भी काफ़ी पॉलिटिक्स थी. जब राइट्स हो गए बड़े एडवांस से सीरियस, तो फिर इन्होंने बोला कि पार्टीशन इज ओनली सोल्यूशन.
तो सर आप आज भी जब याद करते हैं सरगोधा का टाइम, समय, तो आपको क्या याद आता है, क्या इमेज बनती है आपके माइंड?
इनमें तो वो मेमोरेबल पीरियड था हमारी लाइफ का, कोई फिक्र नहीं है. बच्चे थे, खेलने कूदने और हर चीज़ इन प्लेंटी, मनी वाइज, कंफर्ट वाइज, अदरवाइज कोई शॉर्टेज नहीं थी किसी चीज़। जैसे आफ्टर पार्टीशन इंडिपेंडेंट कलकत्ता में रह के शॉर्टेज फील किया ना फॉर फ्यू ईयर्स, तो वो नहीं था। इट वॉज ए वेरी हैप्पी एंड लकी लाइफ।
तो सर आपने अभी मेंशन किया था कि कोई पाकिस्तान बनने के बाद भी आपसे मिलने आते थे।
हाँ, फ्रेंड्स आते थे, शफी वगैरह हमारे साथ जो हॉकी खेलते थे, सरगोधे में आते थे, कलकत्ता में भी आते थे। बीच में तो टूर्नामेंट भी होती रही है, पाकिस्तान की टीम आती रही है कलकत्ता में काफ़ी देर, बट आफ्टर सम टाइम फिर बंद हो गई।
तो टीम में कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि आप ही के फ्रेंड्स आपके अगेंस्ट वाली टीम में खेल रहे हैं?
हाँ, वो तो नेचुरली जो मोमेंटन थे वो पाकिस्तान की टीम में और इंडियन टीम।
ऐसा हुआ है मतलब कि जो कि वहाँ से खेले हैं?
हाँ हाँ,
सरगोधा के प्लेयर?
हाँ हाँ,
अच्छा, कौन से? ये मोहम्मद शफी?
हाँ, शफी वगैरह थे।
अच्छा,
मैं तो खैर काफ़ी थे। आई वॉज यूज टू प्ले फ्रॉम ब्रदर्स क्लब। जब कॉलेज ख़त्म हुआ तो एक साल ब्रदर्स क्लब में खेलता रहा। वो मोहम्मदन ही थे सारे, तो उनके प्लेयर आते थे इधर में।
खेलते थे वो?
इट वॉज कार्डियल रिलेशन आफ्टर पार्टीशन आल्सो। हो जाते थे बीच में कभी कभी राइट्स वगैरह या मार पीट, पर अदरवाइज फ्रेंडशिप हैज नॉट चेंज। आई मीन एजुकेटेड क्लास में कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ा।
तो सर फिर कितने टाइम तक आप उनके कांटेक्ट में रहे? अभी भी हैं?
नहीं, अभी तो कोई हमारी एज का कोई होगा, बीच में तो आते रहते थे, पर अभी तो अभी कोई, जैसे मेरा ग्रैंडसन लॉ करने गया हुआ था तो वहाँ पे कोई पाकिस्तान के मिल जाते थे, तो अभी हम लोग गए थे सिंगापुर।
अच्छा, गए थे अभी आप?
मैं और बिट्टू गए थे दोनों।
अच्छा,
तो हम लोग खड़े थे,
हाँ,
तो मैं बैठा हुआ था, तो बिट्टू सिगरेट पीने गया, तो उधर में कोई लड़का को भी सिगरेट पीने,
हाँ,
तो उसने पूछा कहाँ के हो, तो उसने बोला मैं ओरिजिनल तो सरगोधे के।
हाँ।
वो कहता मैं भी सरगोधे का हूँ।
अच्छा,
ही ब्रॉट हिम काफ़ी डिस्टेंस, चल के आया मेरे पास, पाँव हाथ लगाए, जप्फी डाली,
अच्छा।
बड़े प्यार से मिला। और एक दफ़ा हम सिंगापुर में बैठे हुए थे किसी क्लब बार में, तो उधर में साथ में था, तो ऐसे ही हल्लो हल्लो हुई तो बात हुई, तो बोला कहाँ के हो? सरगोधे के। कहता कहाँ रहते थे? 3 ब्लॉक। कहता मैं भी 3 ब्लॉक में रहता। कोइंसिडेंट हैपन।
तो अगर
हाँ।
उनके कांटेक्ट में हो गए आप?
नहीं,
उनको बोला कि फोटो भेज दे घर के हमारे।
इसने बिट्टू ने शादी हुई है,
अच्छा,
वो जो मिला था सरगोधे का।
अच्छा,
वो तो ऐसे ही मतलब एयरपोर्ट के लॉन्च में बैठे हुए थे,
हाँ हाँ हाँ।
तो 2 मिले। बाकी कई आते हैं, कभी कभी कोई मिल जाता है, पर नॉट नोन पर्सन।
एंड सर अगर हम फाइनल थॉट्स की बात करें तो कमिंग जनरेशन्स, आने वाली पीढ़ियों को, नस्लों को आप क्या मैसेज, क्या संदेश देना चाहते हैं?
हम तो यही बोले कि प्यार मोहब्बत से रहें, सबके साथ खुश रहें। हार्ड टाइम आते हैं लाइफ में, बट दे शुड फेस इट। ये नहीं है कि बस हार नहीं माननी चाहिए। एज अ स्पोर्ट्समैन वन शुड नेवर फील कि आई हैव लॉस्ट। अगर हार भी गए तो नेक्स्ट जीते।
एंड सर इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट हॉकी, उस टाइम पे हॉकी का लेवल और आज हॉकी का लेवल?
उस टाइम में बहुत ऊंचा हॉकी का स्टैंडर्ड था। अभी तो इट्स लाइक ए फुटबॉल। हॉकी तो है ही नहीं। जो फैंसी गेम ड्रिबलिंग की थी, यू विल नॉट सी इट एट ऑल। अभी तो यहाँ से इट मोर लाइक ए फुटबॉल। द फाइनेस्ट जो थी कि डाज करके आदमी को कैसे जाना है, और उसको 3 आदमी डाज करके जाते थे डी के पास, गोल करते थे। अभी वो फैंसी है ही नहीं। इधर से हिट मारो, उधर उधर, कैरेट नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, रूल्स। उन्होंने अपने मतलब इंग्लैंड वगैरह ने, कॉन्टिनेंट वाले ने अपने तरीके से,
हाँ,
अभी फुटबॉल की तरह है।
ऑफसेट हट गया।
रूल्स भी काफ़ी है, ऑफ साइड नहीं है,
नहीं
क्या
है।
कुछ नहीं है, कोई फैंसी। मैं अभी देखता भी नहीं हूँ। मैं मतलब मज़ा ही नहीं है। जो फैंसी गेम होती थी पहले, रात को कितने बजे तक मैच देखते थे।
ग्रेस खत्म हो गई सारी। ट्रू।
कोई मतलब किसी का डार्जिंग का नहीं, कुछ नहीं, कैरेट नहीं है, वो हाफ साइड के रूल चेंज कर दिए हैं।
हिट बजाते हैं जोर
हाँ,
से।
मोर लाइक ए फुटबॉल।
हाँ ट्रू।
एक्चुअली उनको सूट करता है
उनको
ना।
सूट करता है कभी ना, उनके पास स्किल वर्क ही ना, उनके पास स्टिक वर्क है ही नहीं उनका।
ये भी गाना थे, एक्चुअली बैठे हुए थे, इसलिए निधि आ गई थी।
अच्छा।
बोला गया था उधर में
किधर?
अंडमान,
अच्छा,
मोहन बगान टीम के साथ। ये केशव दत्त है।
अच्छा, ये कैसे होता है?
ये मोहन बगान की टीम है।
थोड़ा सा इसका ध्यान रखना है, ये 3 बटन ऊपर आए।
ऊपर के साथ अपने आ गए।
कैसे दबाना है?
ये पापा जी की 1952 की है।
कैमरा
ये पापा जी को फैक्ट्री भेजी थी लंदन में
अच्छा।
एट दैट टाइम, मतलब 30s की होगी।
हाँ, इजीली प्रैक्टिस करते हैं।
ठीक है,